Ankh and Ma'at. Welcome to Kemetic Ascension for May 8th, 2022. We're so honored that you've come to join us. We know that this is a day that you probably are preparing to spend with family, a day that you're probably preparing to spend with those women, those queens that are so important to you. So we're honored that you've taken a portion of your day with us. Let me welcome you to Kemetic Ascension once more. I know that you're coming in. We're running a little bit behind schedule, but I still want to say that we're going to try to have a relatively quick session. That means Brother Jabari can't speak as long, because I know that you are planning to spend this day likely with your mother. I want to just go ahead and say that we would love to hear at the outset, you know that we do this every session. We would love to hear at the outset how long you've been partaking in Kemetic Ascension and where in the world you are. Tell us how long you've been part of Kemetic Ascension and where in the world you are. We want to be able to understand how far the voices, the whispered voices of our African ancestors have reached. We want to know whether you are practicing the ways of our ancient African ancestors in that Happy Valley region. And I'd love to know where you are in the world as you're coming in. So, do we have some answers?
Yes, Shane the Watcher. Good morning. Hetapu, how are you? We have someone, what's that about? Who are you? Where are you from? Let us know. Robert McAfee, Ankh and Ma'at.
Ankh and Ma'at, that's a name we've heard before, Ankh and Ma'at.
Send Jason out in Nebraska.
Ankh and Ma'at, one of our initiates, one of the full members of the shrine, Ankh and Ma'at.
We have Send Curtis out in Painesville,
Ankh and Ma'at, another initiate of the shrine. Listen, for those of you who are saying, and this happens every year, some of you say, oh, I didn't hear about initiation. I want to be a member of the shrine. We were talking about it for like 2 months. But I want you to know that those people who are going through their process are nearing completion. They will be complete soon, and you will hear, you'll see a celebration that really commemorates the work of folks like Sen Jason and Sen Curtis. It's coming really soon. June 11th, 2022. June 11th, 2022.
Sen Curtis says he's about to drive to Pittsburgh to see his mom.
Oh, how long is Pittsburgh from Ohio? Depending on where he is in Ohio, it may not be that far, because Pittsburgh is all the way to the west.
Okay, we have a Sarah Set Heru.
Ankh and Ma'at to you.
Ankh and Ma'at to you.
And to Sen Curtis, please give your mother divine love from us as well, divine myrrh.
We have Chiquita Wynn out in North Carolina. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Sinette Lisa Attaway. Good to see you.
Welcome, one of our full members, I want to say Sinette Lisa Attaway is from Rakasashen, right? Not Kepurura Ma'at. I think she's Rakasashen. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sinette Lisa.
Okay. Asara said Heru says they are from North and South Carolina.
Wonderful. North and South Carolina, both?
That's what it says.
Okay. Ankh and Ma'at.
And so far, our furthest person is Annunciata Omoregie. I hope I said that correctly. Out in Lagos, Nigeria.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to Nigeria, the most populous country on the African continent, a place where Nika and I are desperately waiting to travel. When we hear someone's going to Nigeria, we smile and we try to figure out how we're going to fit in their luggage. Seriously, I mean, we really want to go. The closest thing that we've gotten to Nigeria is the airport. On our way to Ghana, we stopped in Lagos. And I remember saying to Onika, you think we can get out? She's like, no, you can't get out. I really wanted to get out. Anyway.
I'd be stuck.
That'd be stuck. The plane was only in for like an hour and a half. So there was no way that I was going to be able to go anywhere. And we were meant to sit on the plane, not actually to even go into the airport. So we're waiting to get to Lagos.
What's that about? Says they're from New Jersey.
Ankh and Ma'at, just right across the water.
We have Lou Ra, who says Hotep and Happy Mother's Day.
Hotep, Happy Mother's Day.
Chicago.
Wonderful. Chicago. We're going to mention Chicago in a moment as well.
Aton Amun-Ra is here. Been
One of
watching from
our
Chicago for 4
initiates.
years.
Wonderful. And I know we're going to see you in Chicago. I can't wait to see you in Chicago. As much as we've spoken over the course of the last few weeks, we speak a lot. I think I even saw you on that very long Sonnetter broadcast last night. Those of you may not even know that after being on Sonnetter, then I went on the Fopay page for another hour to hour and a half. Oh, so anyway, yes. I can't wait to meet you in person, brother.
I think we have somebody representing Connecticut up in here. I'm not sure.
There's no one from the Connecticut that is as part of the shrine at all.
I don't know.
No, Connecticut is like a black hole there. We don't have anyone. That is our sister, our sister, Nbt-Het, one of the leaders of the shrine and also our personal friend as well. So you know I can tease her. And I think that Nbt-Het actually was on for most of that, if not all of that presentation last night too. So there are a lot of people in the Shrine of Ma'at that are extremely tired today, including Brother Jabari. So if you see me start a drool, just be nice. Just be nice. Don't, you know.
Shane Watcher says that they're from Sacramento, California.
Wonderful, wonderful.
2016.
Watching what? Say again?
Since 2016, and can't wait for your class tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's see. We have Edsel Peterson from Rochester, New York.
Anken Ma'at, Anken Ma'at.
Hansatu, the Empress, Nanguan. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but out in Montclair, New Jersey.
Anken Ma'at.
Dark Hue Drop Love.
Montclair is just around the way from us.
Oh, originally from Guyana, now resides in Queens.
Really? Oh, I wonder. You know the Daly family, spelled D-A-L-Y, the Daly family, or the Nurse family, actually. Interesting.
Let's see. So Jason said his flights are booked for the Chicago trip.
Listen, as much as I've spoken to Sen Jason, it's going to be strange seeing him with my own eyes, you know. I mean, there's some folks that I speak to all the time. It's all been online. I know them. And then when I see them, I'm like, okay. Like, for example, Sen Gavin's probably going to be on. His major birthday is coming up. When I saw Sen Gavin, I didn't realize he was so tall. Sen Gavin's probably, I was like, Sen Gavin is tall. I didn't realize that because he's always sitting down. so I can't wait to see you, brother Jason.
And we have Ian Dante. Uncle Matt, let us know where you're from.
Anken Ma'at, Sen Ian.
And then we have B from St. Louis, Missouri.
Wonderful. B, wonderful. Anken Ma'at. I don't know if that's a Sen or Senet.
And it says, done my ancestry and found that I'm part of the Nile Valley people.
Really?
Wonderful.
Shoot me an email on that. I would love to see more about that at jed@centerforma'at.org.
And then Jeff was centerofma'at.com or shrineofma'at.org.
I told you I'm working with, as Sonnetter would say, slow gases today. Yes, jed at shrineofma'at.org. jed@shrineofma'at.org. I just mixed two emails that both say Jed. That's what happened. I'm glad that she caught it.
We have Nebu Kemetic Spectrum. How are you? Good to see you again.
Anken Ma'at. We know Nebu Kemetic Spectrum, right? I don't know whose tag that is, but we know that person. I just can't remember who it is.
And we have Heru Asar Amun-Ra. You know, I always love to say the name.
Yes. Anken Ma'at, powerful name. Texas is always in the house.
Serenity Joy. I know she goes by Seba Ka out in Maryland.
So Serenity Joy is Seba Ka?
Yeah. He looks so confused.
Yeah.
One of our initiates.
Yes, I know that she's one of our initiates. And I know Seba Ka. I'm just like, is that? Anyway, look. This is coffee in here. No tea today. This is coffee.
Or is it alcohol?
Oh.
We have Burgess Taylor out in Las Vegas. Anken Ma'at, good to see you.
Anken Ma'at. Anken Ma'at.
Nbt-Het said that she's from Woods and Bears, Connecticut.
Yes, that's accurate, I believe. I believe that's accurate.
Let's see. Sinet Lisa's from Rock Ascension.
Anken Ma'at. Anken Ma'at.
Way you were asking which one.
Yes, Rock Ascension, right? Yeah, that's what I thought she was at.
Tashi, how are you? Out in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Anken Ma'at.
How's it going, sis? We have Tahuti Ma'at Ross Sirius out in Wichita, Kansas.
Yes, Ankh Ma'at.
And OG the fourth, Tahuti Mess, OG the fourth.
I believe he's coming to us in Jersey. I don't remember what part of Jersey. It's Irvington. Ankh Ma'at, little brother.
And here we have
Little big brother. He's much taller than me, but he's still my little brother.
another wonderful Kemetic name, Heru Jehuti Pata Umika Tamra. I love it.
Yep.
A son Ernest in the house from West Coast.
Ankh Ma'at.
Welcome. And Annunciata says, can't wait to see us in Nigeria.
We can't wait to get to Nigeria. Oh, man.
Let's see. Who else do we have? Sinet Oye.
Ankh Ma'at, holding down Philly. It was wonderful to see Sinet. Now, I've seen Sinet Oye before because she's in Philly and we're in New York. But it was wonderful to see Sinet Oye and Sinet Tashi and Sinet Brittany and Sinet Deborah. And I'm sure I'm forgetting one or two people. Please understand that I'm working on very little sleep. Oh, and Sen, Corey, all at the One Africa conference last week. It was wonderful to see you on with my own eyes, because during the pandemic, even people that we see regularly, we didn't get a chance to see. So Ankh Ma'at to you. We're so happy. I'm glad that I was able to see you there.
And we have Zaudita from New Orleans.
Ankh Ma'at.
Hiram Abiff. What's up?
Yes, Ankh Ma'at. I think I asked a question about that one last time. I'm assuming that Hiram Abiff is
Amor. Remember, I think that was the answer.
Was that Amor? You said it was Amor. I said that he was probably.
I think in the chat he wrote.
He said he was Amor, because I assumed that meant you're Prince Hall Mason. But anyway.
Let's see, who else do we have? Seshmeet, Ubuntu, and Ma'at.
Ankh Ma'at, one of the initiates of the shrine, and an initiate of the shrine of Ptah. She's been in the game for a minute.
It's just fun to say.
Ankh Ma'at to you.
Abu Jamar, are you back from Cali? Let us know. How's it going?
Ankh Ma'at, Abu Jamar.
We have Stephanie Lewis from Seattle.
Ankh Ma'at.
Much more. It's me, Tom the Weedy from Ghana.
Oh, wait. I think he might have sent us a message recently. That name is too familiar. Or did we just become friends on Facebook? I've seen your name recently, like in the last few days. Ankh Ma'at. Let us know what part of Ghana you're in. Let us know what part of Ghana you're in. And while we go to Ghana all the time, we may not know the names of all the cities. So tell us, if you tell us the city, tell us what part of Ghana it's in, so that we know where you are. So perhaps we can see you this summer. Or maybe you could even hook up with the shrine members that are there.
We have Carver Reed from Jamaica.
Ankh Ma'at.
Oh, and then Jason says that his tickets are for New York, not Chicago. So he'll be here for.
Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. That's why I figured you were coming to New York. Yeah. Ankh Ma'at.
Septopia Black, what's up? How's it going? Good seeing you again.
Ankh Ma'at.
And B says, yes, I am a woman, LOL.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I thought that you might have been, but I did not want to make a mistake. So Ankh Ma'at Sinet B. We have a Sinet B that's a part of the shrine. That's a full member of the shrine.
We have Lisa Marie Carter. Welcome.
Ankh Ma'at.
Amun Ra. Welcome.
Ankh Ma'at.
Carmen Winfield. We have Atun Davian.
Ankh Ma'at.
I think this is the songwriter who sent the music to us.
Ankh Ma'at.
From Chicago, now living in Florida.
Ankh Ma'at.
See, and Carmen Winfield is from Arkansas, Mount Neal, Arkansas. I hope I said that correctly. No, I'm not sure. Let's see. Who else? A lot of people here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's me, Tom DeWeedy says, will be my first time to meet you when you come to Ghana. I can't wait to be at the Cape Coast and also to learn more about initiation.
Oh, are you? Yeah, I think maybe he asked a question about initiation. He's from Accra. Okay, Ankh Ma'at. We're going to be in Accra for a few days, but then most of our trip will probably be in Cape Coast, because that's where we're installed. That's where we are building our house. That's how it works.
So we have Elizabeth Dinanieris, I hope I said that correctly, who's new to the channel, so welcome.
Welcome, Ankh and Ma'at to you.
Joya Sells, I believe, is also new from Tyler, Texas.
Ankh and Ma'at.
Live on the stream.
Always is.
Ma'at Ma'ank out in Cape Verde Island in West Africa.
Wonderful.
Watching us for 4 years. Wonderful.
Wow, Cape Verde, another place I really want to go to.
Of course. Let's see, Asar Aten. I think STL, is that St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Welcome.
Ankh and Ma'at.
Tanya McAfee, welcome. Good to see you.
Ankh and Ma'at. Ankh and Ma'at.
So the one who united us as one. Oh, okay, so.
Oh, Tanya McAfee?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Which couple was that? Let us know. Alcinette Sandra Arrington, welcome. Good to
Ankh
see
and
you.
Ma'at, it's good to see you.
And Sam Gaston out in Arizona.
Ankh and Ma'at, Phoenix in the house.
Yes, I think that's everyone.
Wonderful. Can I say Ankh and Ma'at to you all? Can I say that I'm sending divine myrrh to you all, particularly on this day that celebrates mothers. And you know, as practitioners of African tradition, celebrating the divine feminine, celebrating those queens who give so much for us to exist and for us to thrive in this world is important to us. So I must say Ankh and Ma'at to you on this wondrous day.
Alan Mayu says, Ankh and Ma'at from Tacoma, Washington. He says, man, it's early out here.
Yeah, 3 hours early, right? Ankh and Ma'at to you, one of our full members of Kepru Rama'at. Ankh and Ma'at, San Alan. I want to say that I am so pleased to be here with you, even though I'm a little slow on the uptake because I haven't gotten much sleep. And we're going to talk about the divine feminine today. We're going to talk about mothers today. But before we do that, you know, we begin Kemetic Ascension in the way that our elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata, taught us to begin. And that is with that ceremony, that ritual that reminds us of just how powerful we are, that reminds us of the stuff that we are made of, the stuff of stars, that reminds us that we are eternal divine beings. That ceremony, that ritual known as the opening of the way. So please, can you come forward, Anuka, so we can do the opening of the way? We're going to have you stand in a position of adoration. Stand with your left foot a bit forward, like you're taking a stride, your right foot a bit back, and then expose your palms in front of you. You know that you can feel energy in that manner. In fact, if you just close your eyes and stand in this way for a while, you'll be able to sense energy. I want you to put your left hand a bit further forward than your right hand, and your right hand can be a bit further down as well. Don't break your wrist sharply. Just break, if you're going to break them ever so slightly, okay? But you can even put your hands at your wrist completely straight. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a breath, breathe into the diaphragm. Don't breathe into your chest, breathe into your diaphragm, and then we're going to chant the word Ankh. Now, here's the deal. When I'm in person with some of you, I hear you go, Ankh. That is all coming from here. You're supposed to be breathing from here and allowing that sound to travel to here, up through the top of your head. It's a nasal sound because you are sending energy from here through here, energy from here through here. Does that make sense? So let us do this. Take your breath.
Anetrak Nbt-Het.
Anetrak Nbt-Het.
Nuke Nbt-Het.
Nuke Nbt-Het. Anetrak Hapi.
Anetrak Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Twao Inter.
Twao Winter. Anetrak Serket.
Anetrak Serket.
Nuke Serket.
Nuke Serket. Anetrak Kebsenu.
Anetrak Kebsenu.
Nuke Kebsenu.
Nuke Kebsenu.
Twao Winter.
Twao Winter. Anetrak Ast.
Anetrak As.
Nuke Ast.
Nuke As. Anetrak Amset.
Anetrak Amset.
Nuk Amset.
Nuk Amset.
Twau Inter.
Twau Inter. Anetrak Neat.
Anetrak Neat.
Nuk Neat.
Nuk Neat. Anetrak Dwamutef.
Anetrak Dwamutef.
Nuk Dwamutef.
Nuk Dwamutef.
Twau Inter.
Twau Inter. Anetrak Newt.
Anetrak Newt.
Nuk Newt.
Nuk Newt. Anetrak Gab.
Anetrak Gab.
Nuk Gab.
Nuk Gab.
Twau Inter.
Twau Inter.
Anetrak Shu.
Anetrak Shu.
Shu. Shu. Shu. Shu. Nuk Shu.
Anetrak Tefnut.
Anetrak Tefnut. 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 Nuk Tefnut. Twau Inter. Anetrak Paut Interu. Nuk Paut Interu. Anetrak and Boo Interu. Nuk and Boo Interu. Twau Inter. Take your breath.
Twau Inter.
Twau Inter. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Can I say just a finer point on how you're chanting Ankh? You should actually feel the top of your head vibrating to some degree when you're chanting it. You're trying to channel energy from here all the way up through here. Okay? Channel energy all the way from the lower portion of your torso all the way towards the top of your head. When you feel that vibration, you will actually feel how that resonance is allowing you to reach another space. I'm going to tell you that when I first did the opening of the way after my first sacred fast, when I was a young initiate in the Shrine of Ptah, I remember that the vibration at the top of my head was so violent that it was difficult in some ways, because we were chanting together, all of the initiates, and their chanting was resonating at the top of my head in my crown, and mine was resonating in theirs. There's a different feeling when you do that. And this is the kind of thing you only know as a practitioner, because you are doing things. So please, you're not chanting, that's all from here. You're chanting, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Hopefully someone will let me know if I'm making sense. You want it to be the nasal sound because you want it to come to here. Okay. At this part of our session, what we do is we go into Hesi. And Hesi is how our ancient Kemetic ancestors galvanized divine energy in harmony and song and in affirmation. And so today we want to take you back to some of the wonderful work of the Schaefer family out of Dodowa, Ghana, this wonderful couple who are part of the Shrine of Ma'at and are making some incredible music. And we want to do the Het-Heru Hesi with you. The Hesi, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it looks like some people who did their pre-orders are now getting their CDs.
Wonderful.
So.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You should know that the music that they've put together is beautiful. They wrote some of the Hesi themselves, some of the Hesi that they sang on that incredible production, the Shrine's first album. It even saying album is dated, right? But the Shrine, you know what I'm talking about. The Shrine's first album was actually written by Anika and Jabari Osaze, and some of it have been things that we took directly from the Kemetic text. But you should know that whatever they did it in wonderful harmony because they could sing. Brother Jabari was gifted with many things. A singing voice was not one of them. And they also mastered it so professionally. It is really, really well done. So we want to share with you again the Het-Heru Hesi. Remember, Het Heru is the lady of beauty, the lady of music, the lady of harmony, the lady of, some people would say, magic. She's the lady of Hesi. That's who she is. And what better Hesi to utilize on a day such as Mother Day? This is the day that we will do the Het Heru Hesi. You're going to hear Het Heru Nefer Hena Mer, right? We're going to talk to you about what that means after you listen. So, Het Heru Nefer Hena Mer. You should know that Het Heru, as I said, is one of the most important deities of ancient Kemet. She is the lady of beauty, the lady of magic, the lady of harmony. She, the lady of dance. She is sometimes represented as a sacred cow. So you'll see her as a beautiful woman with cow ears. And sometimes she's depicted as a cow herself. I believe that this is where the concept of the Milky Way came from, because in some of the depictions of the version of Het Heru, known as Motherhood, by the way, that we see in the heavens, we see milk falling from her udders and it looks like the stars in the sky. Clearly, they were saying that this was the Milky Way. Our ancient African ancestors were describing it as such. And so as we look at Het Heru on a day like today, recognize that what we are saying in honor of her is Nefer, which could be described as perfection or beauty. Let's say beauty in this instance. Henna is one of the words for and Mer is love. So all we're saying in this very simple Hesi is Het Heru, beauty and love. Beauty and love. Nefer Henna, Nefer Henna, Nefer Henna Mer. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, simple Hesi that you can remember and sing. And I can just picture when the shrine has the building that is commensurate with the work that we are doing, I could just picture people dancing in large white flowing gowns to this particular Hesi. It is going to be absolutely wondrous. And so we want to say dua once again to the Schaefers, because they have really taken a Hesi that Anika and I wrote and made it even more beautiful than we could have done. So dua once again to them. Make sure you're getting a copy of our first album, our first CD. It is called Temple Music Volume 1, Kemetic Meditations. Kemetic Meditations. That's the full name. And you might want to know the name as well, because you can also get it on any streaming site available. Okay. I believe the one that was lagging was YouTube Music. I think YouTube Music is kicked in now. So pretty much anything that you stream on, you're going to find it on, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music, or Pandora. Anything you stream on, search for Temple Music Volume 1, Kemetic Meditations, and you'll find it. It is wonderful music that you can use at every moment of your day. So we want to say dua to the Schaefers once again, and we hope that you will use the Hesi in your life as well to galvanize divine energy. So today I want to talk to you a little bit on a day that is meant to commemorate mothers, about wisdom in the concept, wisdom in the practice, wisdom in the remembrance of sacred motherhood. And as you look at this image on the screen, you are seeing, I hope, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sister reading to her daughter on the couch. By the way, I love that if you look in the background of that image, can you see the father in the background with what looks like a little boy? Can you see that? I love that image. You see that, Anika? Look at the background. Do you see the fathers in the background here? So they're not trying to say this lady by herself with a child. They're just trying to say, look, mom and daughter are having a moment, and father and son are having a moment, right? That was very deliberate, whoever took this picture, and I love it dearly. They're just reading together. And then on the extreme right, we see a mother who is with the Maasai and her son. Now, I'm going to tell you the way that they look. The mom is like, okay, you can take my picture. But son is like, mom, I'm with you. I know you're protecting me, but who the heck is looking at me? This image really shows you how comfortable and how connected he is to his mother. Beautiful, and her adornments are magnificent. Look at that cowrie shell belt around her neck. Magnificent. We're looking at the Maasai. We're looking at a beautiful African-American mother and daughter on the left, and in the middle, the ancient symbol of divine motherhood, the great lady Ast, holding Heru, holding Heru. let's recognize that in the ancient African tradition, motherhood is the most powerful energy in the universe. We are all the children. We are all the children of a divine mother. Even Ra is a child of a divine mother. So let's talk today about the wisdom in sacred motherhood. First of all, I want to just go back and give you some of the historic description of Mother's Day. Mother's Day is meant to be a secular holiday in the United States. There are very few holidays that are secular holidays in the United States. This is one of them, and it was brought into being by Anna Marie Jarvis. Anna Marie Jarvis, this lady that is here on the left. She founded Mother's Day as a celebration for her mother in 1908. So you should know that it's only been around in the United States for about 100 years. Her mother, whose name was Anna Reeves Jarvis, served communities during the Civil War. And Anna Marie Jarvis says, I hope and pray that someone sometime will found a Memorial Mother's Day commemorating her for all the matchless service she renders to humanity in every field of life. She is entitled to it. So she is talking about the importance of mothers. And it is interesting that it is not until the 1900s that the United States celebrates a divine mother, because there is a problem with the role of women in the Western world. The reality is, and I'll show you this in a little bit, there were celebrations to motherhood for thousands of years in Africa. Yet when we get to the United States, the most powerful, the most well-resourced country in the world, we don't see a celebration of mothers until 1908. 1908. Just think about how recent that was. Think about how recent that was. We begin to see that florist and greeting card companies take opportunity on this day to profit on the day. And Anna Marie Jarvis, the creator of the day, was really upset. She says, a printed card means nothing except that you are too lazy to write to the woman who has done more for you than anyone in the world. And candy, you take a box to mother and you eat most of them yourself. A petty sentiment. She was not happy with how Mother's Day turned out. She was not happy. In fact, she actually tried to get people to stop celebrating it because she was not happy at how the celebrations for Mother were occurring in the United States. Eventually, she dies in a sanitarium on her own in 1948, and she herself had no children. So just think about the lot of the woman who told these Westerners in the United States that they should celebrate their mothers. Think about how difficult a life she ended up having, and how she disagreed with the manner in which they wanted to celebrate mothers, just for profit and not actually, as she saw, a celebration, a proper celebration of mothers. But I want us to recognize that for thousands of years, probably at least tens of thousands of years, we see celebrations of the divine feminine. Take a look at these two statues. The one on the left is where, the one on the right is where. I want you to tell me where the statues are from. I'm going to tell you that they're Kemetic deities, but where are these statues today? Some of you probably know. I want you to tell me where they're from. And I want you to know that both of these images, both of these great ladies are so old that we don't even remember their names. We don't remember their names. They come forward before the dynastic period of Kemet. Before the dynastic period of Kemet. Do we have any answers, Anika? Okay. As you look at them, I want you to also notice that they both have what could be seen as sagging breasts. Can you see that? Because what they are trying to say is that these are ladies who have given birth and suckled. They did not see this as a negative image. These ladies aren't wearing wonder bras. As you look at these ladies, they are saying they are mothers. They are symbols of fertility. They are the ones that bring humanity into existence. They are the protectors and the creators of the universe. These ladies are so old that it is likely that these are some of the first deities, even in Kemet. Still no answers?
One from the left from Nubia.
Okay. Is that the only answer we have?
The one from the right is in the Manhattan Museum.
Is that what it says, Manhattan Museum?
Mm-hmm.
Who said the one is in the Manhattan Museum?
Sebaka.
Okay. Y'all are trying. Let's do it this way. The one on the left is currently in the Brooklyn Museum. It's currently in the Brooklyn Museum. And the one on the right is currently in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It is in Manhattan, but it's called the Metropolitan Museum of Art, sometimes just called the Met. So both of these old statues of the divine feminine from Kemet, neither of them are on the continent of Africa. They're both in the city of New York right now, which is very interesting, just a few miles apart. They are so important that when, for example, they do work on the street outside of the Metropolitan Museum, the lady on the right is moved and put someplace safe. They don't even let her feel the vibrations from people working on the street in front of the museum. That is how critical and how delicate this statue is. But I want you to recognize they are not some of the oldest images we see of the divine feminine. Take a look at these. These are actually from Europe, and they are older. That doesn't mean that Europeans came before the African. That's not what I'm saying. But I want you to understand that these are older than the two I showed you. One of them is generally called the Venus of Willendorf. It's from Austria, that area where Arnold Schwarzenegger came from. That's from around 28,000 BCE to 25,000 BCE. Then we see what's called the Venus of Dolny Ventanis. I always mess up that name. Vestanis. I guess you could, yeah, that's probably a good way to say it. Vestanis, right? The Venus of Dolny Vestanis, and that's from Moravia. That's 29,000 to 25,000 BCE. And then we see the Venus of Lossel. This one is actually a frieze, and that is from France around 25,000 BCE. So I want you to understand that originally all over Europe, we saw that the celebration of the Divine Mother was common. But I want you to recognize that these ideas of the Divine Mother were likely about an ancient African mother. Even though they are in Europe, understand that they have a remembrance of an African mother. And if you're not clear about that, look at the one on the left. You will see she has cornrows. Can you see that? She has cornrows. Each of them, by the way, should not be called Venus. Venus is a Greek from the Greco-Roman period. This is a very new name for a very old lady. But the Europeans had found it. Unfortunately, they're only able to describe things according to their own social mores, which is unfortunate and limiting. But notice that they are usually larger ladies, believed to actually represent pregnancy, and they have large breasts, large buttocks, large hips, because they are describing this lady's connection to fertility. That is what this is meant to do. There was a point in the world where all of the divine was depicted as feminine. This idea that we say he for the creator of the universe, that is new. And it frustrates me today when even our people say he. They think that sometimes people even say it to me, like they're accepting my tradition and they say he. I say, how can you say he for the creator of the universe? The divine force of the universe is both masculine and feminine. And if anything, we should say she, he. The feminine should come first. There is no one that did not get onto the earth out of anywhere other than their mother's legs. We should understand that the divine feminine is of critical importance. Even Ra comes out of the belly, out of the womb, out of the hennenet of Nut. So we should recognize the importance of the Great Mother. Here we see a statue of Ast, the powerful divine lady Ast, suckling Heru. And you should understand that the oldest celebrations, annual celebrations to motherhood in the world came from Kemet. And there was actually a 4-day, not a 1-day, a 4-day celebration, after held at the vernal equinox, for 4 days beginning at the end of October. And they had this gigantic drama celebrating Ast, giving birth to Heru and suckling Heru. Ast becomes the archetype for mastering the divine power within us all and for victory over suffering. More than any other divine character, Ast continues to lay seeds in the Western world so that we begin to see that even the Christian depiction of Mary seems to be an echo of the Kemetic rendition of Ast. And this is something that people will argue with me about. I wish that they would step to me in person, because I have the sources. Jabari doesn't just speak things without sources. It is likely that Paris is a representation of Ast. After Kemet fell, there was a very large Kemetic temple. These are Western people practicing the Kemetic traditions. That was actually in the area that would become France later. In fact, it was the people there were called the Parisians or the Parisi, and it seems that that name came from Per Isis or Par Isis, which means the temple of Ast. The Greeks called her Isis. This is what we see many scholars mentioned earlier. So that is likely where the name for Paris has its origin.
So natural emoji says we are in the month of Heru or Taurus.
Yes.
This is Mother's Month.
Yep. Did you notice that? Yep. Yep. So I want you to recognize that as we look at this concept comes from ancient Kemet, because the Taurus actually was Het Heru. When you look at the ceiling of the Temple of Dendara, you actually will see that our Kemetic ancestors described Taurus as Het Heru, or more appropriately, Mehert, which is a version of Het Heru when she is in complete cow form. So yes, that is exactly what is occurring. And thank you for saying it so clearly. Look here, and you'll actually see the depiction of Mary, the Tomhu Mary, holding Jesus. This is clearly coming directly from the story of Ast. And then we also see these. These are often very curious to people, because what you're seeing here is what is generally called the Black Madonna. We see these statues of Mary and Jesus, and they are dark. And I'm going to tell you that the people that are worshiping in those churches, they struggle sometimes to describe why all these Tomhu, all these Europeans, all these people that we might call white, are actually worshiping a divine entity that is black. People struggle with this, but I want you to understand what is happening. You have to understand that this is Ast, and that is what we are seeing.
So
Can you see?
That says it's very interesting that the Neteru were androgynous. Can you address that?
Not all of the only Neteru that was considered androgynous, I think it's the only one, is Hapi. Hapi is a depiction of the Nile, what we know as the Nile today. Of course, we wouldn't use the word Nile because Nile means nothing. That is not what our ancestors believed that great fertile river was. Most of the deities were male or female and had male or female offspring. The only one that I can think of, the only one I can think of is Hapi. Everyone else is male or female, just as Ast is a woman and Heru is a young male child to become a male adult. So they are not usually androgynous. Only one is depicted in that manner. Okay? Okay. The thing I find interesting here is in these old churches, we actually see the statues washed, perfumed, and dressed. Do you see that these statues are wearing clothes? They're wearing clothes. And this is exactly what happened in Kemet. Because in these old European churches, they were trying to imitate the traditions of your ancient African ancestors. Unfortunately, along the way, they also sought to erase the fact that they were imitating you. And now, many of us are imitating the imitator who is imitating us. We must return to the source. We must return to our African ways. Can you see? Yes, question, please.
Do they always have male or female counterparts?
Yes. Very quick answer. Yes. Yes. We actually see the earliest depictions of the Kemetic deities. Well, let me say it this way. When we go all the way in the beginning, we see just female. And then there's a point where we begin to see a larger number of depictions of the divine. And then we see the divine feminine and the divine masculine creating the divine child. Because in the African mindset, we do not believe that divine copulation is dirty. I just got asked a question last night by the Hebrews. They said, you know, people tell me that there's no homosexuality in Kemet, but I see images even in the glyphs of penises spilling out seed. And I said, well, brother, when you have a child and you in the hood, what do we often call our children? He said, seed. I said, is your child dirty? He said, no. I said, well, you have to understand that those concepts that you are using have an origin. Your African ancestors did not see copulation as dirty. That would mean that each of us is dirty because ain't nobody get here without a henanen entering a henanet. Nobody got here without that. So are you filthy? So we have a lot of work to do. I'm being told that our elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata, has entered the room. Can I say Ankh and Ma'at to you, Baba? Can we give him some divine myrrh? Just give him some sacred energy. Just make sure that you celebrate our elder. And recognize that without his walk, we would not be on our walk. So he is of critical importance to us.
And get your gifts for your mom from his studio.
You should go to studio. Now, you're probably late right now. You're probably in trouble if you don't have one yet. But you better know what you could do is purchase something and take her the printout and say, Mom, I got this to you. It's coming. You could do that, right? You could do that. He has amazing pieces for your mom. Okay, amazing pieces for mom. And so we're hoping that what you will do is support our elder who has supported us all through these 50 plus years. So myrrh to you, Baba Heru. We're thinking about you, and I know that all of the Shrine of Ma'at gives you ankhs and myrrh for all that you've done. So
another question.
Yes, question.
What you were discussing. Was there in fact homosexuality at all in ancient times?
I think that it would be crazy for us to believe that there were not people who were interested in same-sex relationships in any part of the world. I think that how could we think that there would not be someone that would not be gay, that would not be homosexual in ancient Kemet? I will say to you that it, just like it is in many later societies, is probably very rare. And so that's how we should recognize it. There seems to be at least one tomb that might be for two men who were in a relationship. And that's all that we can mention. Today, they're usually called the tomb of the two friends. But in the depictions in the tomb, we see them represented as what you would see on the representation of husband and wife together. So it's believed that they may be the first recorded same-sex couple. But folks, we have to stop saying that homosexuality appears just because we're connected, because we've had some relationship with Europeans. That doesn't make sense to me. It is rare, but let's recognize that there were always people who were in same-sex relationships or had same-sex interests, and there always will be. That is rare, but it exists. And it doesn't do us any harm to acknowledge that it must have existed at some time in ancient Africa. Okay, so let's move. Look at this. You are seeing depictions of the weeping wife. This is Ast. This is Ast. And you are seeing her, well, on the bottom left, she has her hands to her head, to her face, because she is mourning the death of her husband. On the upper left, you see her with her hand on her head, because she is actually mourning the fact that her husband has been murdered. The archetype of the mourning wife, which becomes the archetype of the mourning mother in the Western world, is something that we see occur particularly in the story of Ast. So Ast becomes the archetype for mastering divine power and also the archetype for victory over suffering. We know that sometimes living is hard, that things don't go the way we expect, that we must go through trials and tribulations, struggles and temptations. And as we do that, one of the best descriptions for our ability to be victorious after great tragedy is Ast, because we see that her husband is murdered. And then she has to raise this son on her own because her husband was killed. And she has to do it in hiding. So that is one of the reasons why I believe Ast becomes so important to the average people, just as that concept goes into the Western world, and then Mary is important. You should know that many of the early Christian fathers did not want Mary to have an important role. There was great arguments over her. In fact, if you even go into the non-canonical biblical text, the Gospel of St. Thomas, you actually will see that in that gospel it says that Mary should not be amongst the men because she is a woman. And Jesus says, well, I'm going to make her a man so she can go into heaven. What? I guess that means that we should understand that in their thinking, only men got to heaven. And so they were going to make her a man. And they said all women who were going to go into heaven would be made male. Can we see that there was a problem with the idea of femininity with the young people on the planet, the Western world? That is not African. Can you hear what I'm saying? That is not African. And so we have to now take this back to its source. By the way, I want you to notice that this is a depiction of the coat of arms of Paris. It was actually created by Napoleon. He says after he comes back from Kemet that he speaks with the elders of the city, and they confirm something for him. And when they confirm it, then he changes the coat of arms for Paris, and you can see that there is a boat. And on the prow of the boat is who? Do you see who is on the prow of the boat? Jabari didn't make this. This is what Napoleon does to represent Paris. You can see that essentially it is saying that the concepts of ancient Kemet came to Paris following a star. This is not by me. And I know I've gotten flack. You making it up, Jabari. Well, you have issues with the ancients that said this, not me. You have issues with Napoleon, who said this nearly 300 years ago, not me. I'm just telling you what they said. Paris seems to be a place that recognizes us. And as we talk about the divine feminine, think about these great ladies who are spending time with that ancestor who goes into Aru, who goes into Taseket Ma'at, who goes into heaven as our first ancestor. Kentiamentiu, the foremost of the Westerners. He is the one who, through his death and resurrection, affords everyone else heaven. This is the concept that our African ancestors, the Kemetic people, put forward, and we must understand this. Take a look at these ladies assisting in the resurrection of Asar. That is what they're doing here. You see them giving divine energy in a very similar way that you saw us do in the opening of the way. They are giving divine energy to the resurrected soul of Asar. How do I know it's a resurrected soul of Asar? The bottom is the Jed, which is a symbol of the resurrection of Asar. On top of the Jed is an Ankh, which is a symbol of divine life. And on top of the Ankh, or part of the Ankh, is the symbol of the Ka, the symbol of the soul, reaching onto the sun. This is the resurrected soul of Asar, and it is occurring in a rocky precipice. Do you notice that we see the symbol for a rocky enclosure? This is actually also a symbol for the Akhet. It occurs at the horizon, so we know we're talking about coming forth today from night. Did you hear what I said? Can you see that this is the horizon as well? So this is the coming forth today from night. It is the book of resurrection. That is what the book is. And then as you look here, you see that the 6 baboon are worshiping the resurrection of Asar, who goes where? Into heaven. Can you see that the symbol at the top, the bluish symbol, that is arced here with the little pointy corners on the end, that is the symbol of Pet, or heaven. So this symbol means that these two great ladies, Ast on the left, Nbt-Het on the right, assist in the resurrection of Asar as he ascends into the heavens. And I want you to also understand that here they are the golden ladies. They are sitting on these symbols that are representation of gold. When you know what you're looking at, you will recognize that we are seeing the origin of the Christian narrative. When I say that, I get death threats. When I say that, people argue with me. But I'm going to keep saying it because I am a priest of Ma'at. I must speak the truth. I must speak the truth. This tradition comes from Africa, and it was copied by the later people. And it celebrates the role of the divine feminine in nurturing us all, in bringing us to our most sacred form. We see the divine feminine nurturing the world. We see the divine feminine nurturing the air of the divine, and we see the divine feminine allowing us all to resurrect. The power of the feminine is of critical importance. Now let me say a few words about Nbt-Het. She is also a symbol of divine sacred sisterhood. We often talk about Ast, but we don't say as much about Nbt-Het. So look at her. She's the second lady there, the one that looks like she has a symbol for a house or an enclosure and a bowl on the top. In actuality, her headdress literally says the lady of the house. Her headdress is her name. It is her name. She is the lady of the house. And you should know that Nbt-Het or Nbt-Het or Nbt-Het, those are different ways you can render her actual African name, actually is probably better known by the Greek rendition of her name, Nephthys. But we are not going to use Greek names to activate ancient African principles and ideals in our life. We will call her Nbt-Het or Nbt-Het. Okay. She is a member of the Pasejet. What is the Pasejet? You might have heard of the Ennead or the 8 in the Greek language. We call that the Pasejet. And we see her come forward from Atun in Iunu, that place that in the Bible is called On. And we also see her, Iunu is also known as Heliopolis, you should know. And that's the Greek name. And that's where she comes forward. She is the sister of As, the wife of Setesh. And this is really interesting to me. There's some people that say that she's actually connected better to Apep, that she's the opponent of Apep. but she is the wife of Setesh. In many ways, she is also about sacred sisterhood, because she could have, after Set killed Asar and usurped the throne, she could have stayed with her husband and been a great and powerful queen. But instead of staying with her husband Setesh, she goes with her sister on a journey to resurrect Asar. This is the power of sisterhood, being primary in many ways. Being primary in many ways. This is an archetype of this relationship, and it's very powerful. Sometimes we say that she is the nursing mother of Heru, so that while she may not have given birth to Heru, she nurses him. In the Merkutu text, often called the pyramid text, we hear that Heru also climbs to her knees, is what they call it. And that image of Heru on the lap of Ast, they're saying, I climb to your knees. And so that is how they describe it. She's sometimes depicted as the mother of Anpu. Did you know that? That sometimes she is depicted as the mother of Anpu. But sometimes we see that Anpu is the son of Bast. Can you imagine a jackal being the son of a cat? But yes, the Kemetic ancestors were speaking about symbolism. So sometimes Anpu is the son of Bast or even the son of Ast. She is a mother of fiery reckoning. In the Merkutu text, it says that she incinerates the enemies of the king. She is a protectress. She incinerates, puts into fire the enemies of the king. So she is known as a protectress as well. She's a protector of Hapi as part of the Mesu Heru. You notice that we said Nbt-Het in the opening of the way. So she actually protects Hapi, the baboon. And she's also known as a protector of the Bennu bird. The Bennu bird is the idea of the phoenix. I hope you know that the idea of this fiery bird that bursts into flames when it gets old, and then what's left in the cinders is the young fiery bird, and it grows to become old, bursts into flames, and the young bird is back there. That is a Kemetic idea. We did not use the word phoenix. We called the phoenix the Bennu bird. She's also referred to by several other names. Nbt-Het of the bed of life, and she's also known as the queen of the embalmers. She actually also is connected to festive ceremonies, like celebrations of drinking. In the Merkutu text, it says she removes the Nesut's hangover. So when you have it rough and you've been drinking like crazy, you should recognize that you should pray to Nbt-Het, who can remove your hangover. She's the queen of darkness that allows one to see, and she's sometimes represented by the kite bird or falcon. She is the mistress of Hekau, or sacred words, and of fertility, and together with her sister Ast, she is considered one of the Meri, or the beloved ladies. This is important. Here's an image of her, a close-up on her in that last image we saw. There's Nbt-Het with the symbol on her head. Here's another depiction. This is during the Ptolemaic era, but you can see that this is also Nbt-Het with that crown on her head. And here is the kite bird. The kite bird is a scary looking bird, Anika. Do you see this bird with the red eyes? If that bird's looking at you, go the other way. That is one of the reasons why sometimes they say that these two ladies were the kites, is because apparently the kite bird has a glorious song. I live in New York City. I don't think I've ever heard a kite bird sing, but I definitely would love to know what it sounds like. So this is also one of the depictions of her. And you can see her here. Here she is also mourning Asar and also giving energy on the left. Can you see her giving energy with her hands? This Nebonk, this one here is the one that we saw in the Louvre, by the way, Anika. Mm-hmm. Anyway, these images are amazing to me. Here are some of the things that you will hear about her in the Merkutu text. Utterance 2:16, it says, I have come to you, Nbt-Het. I have come to the evening barge. I have come to you. True is she over the red. I have come to you, she who remembers the cause. Remember him, Unas. This is in the Merkutu text of Unas. Then there's utterance 2:19. Nbt-Het, this is your brother. This your brother is here, Asar, who you have preserved in life. He lives. He lives. This Unas lives. He is not dead. This Unas is not dead. He is not gone down. This Unas is not gone down. He has not been judged. This Unas has not been judged. He judges. This Unas judges. So they're talking about the resurrected power of Unas and his connection to his aunt Nbt-Het. Let's continue. Utterance 2:22. He comes down to meet his adversary and stands up, the greatest chief in his great kingdom. Nbt-Het praised him after he had captured his opponent. And then finally, another part of utterance 2:22. You go up, you go down, you go up with Nbt-Het, darkened with the evening barge. You go up, you go down, you go up with Ast, you rise in the morning barge. So I want you to recognize that in the Merkutu text, these two great ladies were connected to the process of one traveling from the area of the dead into the area of the living. And here is an image of me here, obviously on a Thursday because I'm wearing purple and white, in the temple that is consecrated to Ast. I'm in the Holy of Holies here, and that is where I am. And so I want to ask you, if you were going to invoke Nbt-Het, what would you do today? What colors would you use? What kind of hekau would you sing? What kinds of foods or offerings, music, symbols, or fragrances would you utilize to celebrate Het Heru? That is not an answer I am going to give you. I want you to put on our Facebook page how you will invoke Nbt-Het on your altar, one of the great ladies. How will you invoke her? We talked a lot about her tradition today. How will you invoke her? What colors should you use? What colors, what fragrances? How will you actually get towards the lady of the second lady of great motherhood? Yes.
Shane says they recently depicted that in Moon Knight.
Yes, they did.
Although he's sure they didn't do it right.
I'm going to say to you that I really need to say something about Moon Knight. I'm a huge comic book fan. You know that I watched every episode of Moon Knight on the Wednesday it came out. I was cautious about saying anything about it initially because I didn't know where they were going to go. I think that it was interestingly done. There were some aspects of it that I enjoyed. Some aspects I was like, I don't know about that. But I think it was very interesting. We don't see Nbt-Het though, but we do see great mothers. The great mother that we see, Tuaret, has a very important role, right? She has a very important role in the whole series, and even has an avatar that has some very cool powers. So anyway, I need to say something about Moon Knight. Maybe this week I'll have a chance to actually say something about Moon Knight, so that we can talk a little bit more about the imagery they use. Moon Knight is supposed to be a superhero who, as the avatar, as the controlled human of Khonsu, is a superhero that has Kemetic superpowers. Very interesting. Yes, Anika.
So Sen Gaston asks, what is the difference between the symbol on her head and the one depicted on Ast's head?
The one on Ast's head is one of two symbols. You'll either see that Ast sometimes has the sun disk and cow horns on Nbt-Het. See this one? Or you'll see her with the throne. Yeah, I'm talking about Ast.
You said Nbt-Het.
This is, well, I meant Ast. Maybe, okay. Ast also sometimes has the throne on her head. Nbt-Het has a very different headdress. She has the symbol of an enclosure or a house, right? It's an enclosure. It's like a rectangle. It has a smaller square in its lower right-hand corner. That's the symbol for Per or Het. That's the Het, actually. And then you see there's a little arc. There's a little, the T sound. Let's see if I can get it closer. That one's not that clear. Maybe this one. You'll see that it even has the T sound, which looks like a half circle, right above that area that is the square there. So that actually literally says Nbt-Het. So the bowl on the top is the Neb, which means the lady. Nebet. Neb is Lord or the Lord, and Nebet is like the lady. You know that lady is supposed to be the female counterpart of Lord, right? We don't usually use it that way in English today, but that's why she is the lady of the house. What is the house supposed to be? I believe that they're referencing the temple. The temple. So she is the temple lady. In some ways, that means that she is the priestess, right? Is that not what they're saying? I think that that's a good description of her. So if you look here, you'll see two very different headdresses. On the left, you're seeing you're seeing Ast with the throne on her head. On the right, you're seeing Nbt-Het with her headdress on her hair. Okay, I got distracted because I saw an alert on my phone, which is what's wrong with me? A comic book creator died, and I was like, "Oh, did he die?" And so I got distracted. Listen, you know I'm a comic book fan. My phone wasn't even up. I happened to glance past it and it recognized my face and it opened. Anyway, look at that. Those are the differences you'll see between these two great ladies that are known as the Mary. So I want you to, once again, folks, talk to us about what you would put on your altar for Nbt-Het. I think that one of the colors, and this is a hint, one of the colors that I might use for Nbt-Het is red.
And somebody did mention that.
Yes, because she's the lady who flies over the red, and you see that she is also the lady who incinerates the enemies of the king. So the red I would connect to fire, and that's one way that I would connect to Nbt-Het. Yes.
Ashley says she would burn cinnamon.
Why cinnamon?
Ask her, let us know. And then she would also mention green is a color that she would wear.
Why green? I agree with those. I just want to know what your understanding is, practitioner. What would you do in that instance for Nbt-Het?
She said she thought you were asking about Het Heru.
Oh, well, Het Heru is definitely green. But that doesn't mean that Nbt-Het is not also green, right? It doesn't mean that you can also not do that. By the way, I want you to see on the left is the altar that Anika had in her last office. It looks a little different now. Same altar? Yeah, this is in her office at work. So she has an altar at work. And you also see the traveling altars that are made by one of the leaders of the Shrine of Ma'at, the priestess of the Shrine of Ma'at, known as Wasseret. And so Wasseret is the one that makes these beautiful travel altars so that you can actually take your connection to the divine with you. They are really, really wonderful, and they allow you to actually travel, to take this sacred practice with you wherever you are. And then I have to also say, as we are talking about the great ladies, to go to the throne, we have to remember our mothers. And so I just wanted to put this image of Anika here with her mom. This is the picture she took when she got her doctorate. And on the right, you see her mom getting her high school degree. It looks similar. Look at mom and daughter. I know that while mom made her transition, she was actually very proud of her daughter and loved her daughter very dearly. So she was certainly there on that day. And then also, I want to show you a picture of my mom. This is a long time ago. The person that she has in her lap, I believe that might be my little sister. I don't think that's my nephew. I think that's my little sister, Nicolette, which means that this was likely 1982. And so that's my mom. I'm going to go see her today. She is the lady who allows me to draw air, and I'm so happy to be able to spend some time with her. I want you to remember your mothers. I know that Mother's Day is a Western holiday, but we, the practitioners of the ancient African traditions, would still see this as an important day. Any day you get to spend with that lady, whether she is in the physical realm or in the ancestral realm, is important. So let us please welcome any celebration for the Divine Mother today. With that, I want to say the divine force in me meets the divine force in you. My voice is getting a little hoarse because I was moving very quickly today. I promised I would try to actually complete things a little bit early. And I'm truly hoping that you have enjoyed this discussion of our sacred mothers. Please make sure that you are celebrating them today. Anika, can you come forward for the final affirmation?
Sure. So just a few announcements. For those of you who are still looking to be in Jabari's class, this is probably your last chance for the African Origins of Christianity. Tomorrow is the second class of a four-class series, which started last Monday. If you are still interested, you can still join. You will get the video replay from last week in your email, and then you'll be able to hit the live link for tomorrow's class, which is at 6 p.m. So for the
Eastern Standard
Time. So for the next 3 Mondays, you'll still be able to be part of that class. And then after that, we will start now we're actually starting to register people who are interested in the 3 Millennia of Excellence course, if you want to learn more about the 3,000 years of ancient Kemetic history. So please, if you're interested, go to our website at centerforma'at.com to register for either one of those classes. Also, we're coming down to the home stretch. For those of you who want to travel with us to Kemet or Ghana, you have to make your payments this month. Deposits are due by May 15th. Final payments are due by May 31st. So if you want to travel with us, you must start putting in your deposits because we have to secure your flight and your hotel arrangements. So please don't wait till the last minute. I've actually gotten about 10 calls just yesterday for people who are trying to come in at the last minute. So if you are interested in traveling with us, please, your window of opportunity is closing very quickly.
And then you're going to see the pictures on Facebook and say, oh man, I didn't know about that. Yes, you did. We told you. We told you. We did. We did.
So if you're interested, stop thinking about it and do it.
And it's a life-altering experience. It really is. When you think about how much it means in your life to have gone on that journey, the cost is actually very small. And so I know that people who have made that journey talk about it forever. I know people that still say, I went to go to Egypt in 1980, and they're still talking about it because it really is life-altering. It's one of those critical moments in which the rest of your life acts as a fulcrum for the rest of your life. So I'm hoping that you will join us. It's going to be amazing. And if you go to Ghana, you're going to get that sense of the West African vibe, the vibe that actually we come from. And you're going to be able to experience those Sazes in their home in Ghana. Not too many people going to come and get a meal at those Saze home. You'll be able to. and know that we're not just talking about having lunch at those Saze home. We're going to talk to you about how you can actually get your house in Ghana as well. You can get a house near us in the same community so that you're able to really return to the continent in a powerful position rather than simply as a visitor.
So for all of that information, you can go to our website at centerforma'at.com. For those of you who are asking for more information about just the shrine itself and Kemetic spirituality, you can visit our other website at shrineofma'at.org. So please take the time to visit those websites to get more information.
And we hope that some of you are going to join us in Chicago. You'll know that we're going to Chicago. We're going to be spending time with Yasira Hotep. It's going to be powerful. Please make sure that you are coming. It's the last weekend of May. It's Memorial Day weekend from Friday to Monday. It's going to be really, really big. And I hope that you are excited and are coming. We're going to do a tour of the Oriental Institute on Sunday. We have 2 powerful lectures on Saturday. It's not the kind of thing that you want to miss. Okay. Once again, you're going to see the pictures and you're going to say, I wish I knew. You do know. We're telling you now.
We're going to post more information about that on our Facebook page. So please visit our Facebook page, Shrine of Ma'at, to get more information about that.
Yes.
And also on the Center for Ma'at Facebook page as well.
Yes.
Okay. So with that, we'd like to end with an affirmation known as Rupu. So if you could stand in the pose of adoration and repeat after me. Rupu Nuku, Amiku, Kemam, Keperu, and Unter, Hayu. I am that I am. A shining being.
Dwelling in the light.
Of the Most High.
Wow.
Twawinter.
Twawinter. With that, I want to say the divine force in me greets the divine force in you. Shema Ma'at. Go forth in divine balance, and we will see you very soon.
Shem is up.
Shem
Go
is
forth
up.
in peace.